am here today with a spark of genius for you fellow visionaries. This is Julianne and I'm coming to talk with you. And my guest today is Leonardo da Vinci, one of my very, very favorite creators. And he may be one of yours, and even if he's not, there's no doubt you know who Leonardo da Vinci is, right? He was an amazing, the epitome of what we would call a Renaissance man, right? He has had so many gifts. He was an inventor. He invented planes. He invented, flying machines. He invented tanks. He invented parachutes, all kinds of things that were way, way, way before his time. But he wasn't just an inventor. He was an artist. We know that from the Last Supper. We know that from the Mona Lisa, right? He was a sculptor. He wasn't just a painter. He was a sculptor. He was into science, astronomy, cartography, making maps. His interests and his gifts really ran the gamut, right? Just a whole spectrum of gifts and abilities that he had. Here's the thing. I've actually been to Leonardo da Vinci's birthplace in Tuscany, in Vinci. That's why we call him Leonardo da Vinci, right? Of Vinci. Da Vinci means of Vinci. So I've actually been there, and there's this amazing museum there of all of Leonardo's works. In fact, I've got a very cherished book that has photographs, not only of some of the drawings that you might be kind of familiar with to you if you know anything about Leonardo da Vinci, but they actually have these little miniature models in the Leonardo da Vinci Museum in Vinci, and where they actually have little miniature created models of what he drew. And it's just incredibly fascinating. And then, his birthplace is actually on this beautiful hill in Tuscany. And when you're standing there and looking out over the rolling hills that just fall away from his boyhood home, you can almost see, there's just no way you couldn't think of a flying machine if that's that's where you were born. At least that's the way I felt about it. Anyway, Leonardo has amazing range of gifts, right? But what I run into, and the reason I'm coming to talk to you today, is what I run into is that so many of our fellow visionaries and many of my clients all across the globe who come to me with just tons and tons of gifts, tons and tons. They're high achievers. They're capable at so many things, but they're not clear about their genius. Okay, and many of them will come to me and they'll say, "I'm not a genius. I'm not. I'm no Leonardo da Vinci." Okay, maybe you can relate, but the truth is, we all have genius. In fact, that's what I write about in my best-selling book, Genesis of Genius. It's all about how we are all creators. We were born creators. That's our greatest gift as human beings. In fact, the name of, when I went through my research for Genesis of Genius, the very Genesis of Genius, the very beginning, all the way back to the very earliest known sacred writings of humankind, the Vedas, which are all about the master creative process, I found the word for human, and that word is Manu, and it means he who imagined. It's he who imagines. That's what human means. So we are all creators, and we all have genius. We all have a unique set of gifts and talents and expertise and experiences and style that is a blend that no one else has in the world, that no one else can offer in the way that we do. That's what we're here to really contribute to the world. That's the greatest value we can provide. That's our highest that's our highest gift to the world, and it's our highest, most joyful expression as well. And so, if you're thinking that you don't have genius, I'm here on a message and a movement to tell you that you do. In fact, that's kind of my gift, is that I can see your genius, and I can see the connections between what sometimes may to you feel like a lot of diverse gifts, a lot of really diverse gifts, diverse interests, diverse ideas. that's all of your brilliance that is meant to be brought together into a unified body of work, a unified, successful business, if you want it to be. And that's what I do. I help visionaries all across the globe who are all high achievers, who all have amazing gifts, to find that signature genius that's unique to them. It's just as unique as a fingerprint to them. And so here's the thing that I want to make a point today. With Leonardo, what if Leonardo had all of these gifts in the Renaissance time, and all of the people around him had said, Leonardo, you're too scattered. Okay, really discouraged him. You're too scattered. You got to find your niche. You got to just, focus, buddy. You got to focus on one thing, just one gift. You can only paint. You can't invent. You got to just paint, right? Then the world would have lost so much, right? And so what if Leonardo da Vinci had never picked up a brush? We wouldn't have the Mona Lisa. We wouldn't have the Last Supper, right? And it's like, if you think about somebody like Michelangelo, what if he had never put his hands into clay? Then we wouldn't have the David. So what is the world missing if you don't share your own gifts and genius, right? And I want to encourage you to begin to claim them and not to be discouraged if people call you scattered. There's actually a way to get all of those bits of brilliance, butterflies of brilliance, to fly in formation. And I want to encourage you to honor those gifts, to claim all of those gifts, especially if someone somewhere along the way has discouraged you from sharing that. And I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear how this has touched you, how this has struck you. Hopefully it has touched you and been relevant to you. And I also would invite you to comment below. Tell me what your gifts are. I'd love to reach back to you. Private message me if we're friends, or friend me if we're not. And also, I want to let you know that you can always reach out to me. I make time in my calendar to talk to visionaries, our fellow visionaries across the globe. And you can just go and get on my calendar to talk with me at geniussession.com. It's that simple, geniussession.com. In fact, here it is, geniussession.com. And you can actually get on my calendar and we can look at, and explore your gifts. And actually, I can actually show you some connections or reflect back to you how there are undoubtedly some synergies, some connections that could weave into a beautiful body of work, a beautiful, successful, joyful business for you. And that's part of my message. I'm so glad that we're connecting here. I'm going to be doing more of these sparks of genius. I'm going to be having more guests like Leonardo. I just find it inspiring myself, and I hope you do too. We'll see you next time. It's Julianne Turner. See ya.